After I announced the existence of the first case of COVID-19 infection in our state. It is deplorable that I'm also here to intimate you with the unfortunate existence of a third case tested positive for COVID-19 infection in our state. This is most unfortunate and quite disturbing. The new case is a medical resident with Nigerian Army Clinic at the Owena Cantonment here in Akure. He came in contact with the index case, who is while administering healthcare to him as a suspected case in the clinic at the army base. As you are aware, the index case came back from a national assignment in India. His first point of examination and treatment was the army barracks, from where the rest of the protocols were observed until it was confirmed and isolated. As a government, we took the conscious effort to monitor all the health workers in the army clinic in order to track any possibility of primary or secondary infection. We also extended all the possible of the index case in the barrack. This serious effort helped us to identify the current case who developed symptoms after the index case was confirmed. We took his samples for testing. The sample was confirmed positive. He had been transferred to our infectious disease hospital for proper care. However, for avoidance of doubt, the current case is not currently a serving member of NYSC as earlier announced. He is an employee of the Nigerian Army who served as a medical practitioner in the facility in the year 2017. My dear people, I'm addressing you today because of the frightening dimension our vulnerability as a people is assuming. It is clear from this particular case that unlike the previous two, which were conveyed from outside the state, the current case is within a state. This has a tendency towards community transmission. In simple terms, reality transferred in a market, transferred in a place of worship, at social gatherings within Ondo state, anytime without restriction and notice. While government will realize its abilities to secure the lives of the people and providing for their welfare, it is unhelpful if guidelines provided for public good are ignored or treated. It is particularly disheartening that in spite of the massive media policy and community advocacy, as well as other response as precautionary guidelines against this pandemic. Reports reaching me have indicated serious gaps in compliance by our people. While government preaches regular hand washing, social and physical distancing, discontinuance of social gathering, and avoidance of unnecessary movement outside the homes and the state, it is disturbing to know that our designated markets, some religious organizations, and several other public places, particularly beer parlors, still thrive in total disregard of our directives. I have also been briefed of the pressure on our borders. Occasionally, this pressure occasion infiltration by people and vehicles from neighboring states. The implication of this can be better imagined. The point must be made again that the fight against COVID-19 is a responsibility that will demand utmost seriousness, vigilance, and attention. There is a need for effective measures of containment, investigation, enforcement, and control, and government will not shy away from its duty to ensure safety. To this end, I have directed further sternner measures to enforce compliance goods, operation of business premises and community markets, religious gatherings, and other social activities within the state. The only exceptions are where food and medical items are sold with total compliance with social and physical distancing. Arrest and detention of individuals and goods being transported into Ondo State through our borders in breach of extant directive on total closure of the border. The only exception allowed are for purposes of obtaining food, seeking emergency, life-saving or chronic medical attention, or obtaining security pass will disrupt the livelihood and daily activities of communities. However, our sacrifices are needed to limit the spread of lives and protect our family and our loved ones. I say that the COVID-19 in our state, we will do all steps the last. This therefore calls for a total and dedicated effort by all of us to the recommended hygienic condition and to assist government in enforcing the time against exposure to COVID-19 infection. We must have taken chance organ, well as other forms of physical contact that make it possible for the virus to be transmitted. We must continue to wash our hands regularly and thoroughly. We must continue to use hand sanitizers where available. These points need not be emphasized because a further occurrence of another case testing positive will inevitably lead to total lockdown of the state. This undoubtedly will bring further strains upon our already stressed economy and livelihood. Government is fully conscious of the pain and frustrations being currently experienced as a result of the existing restrictions and limitations, especially by those who survive on daily trading and those who earn daily wages, such as menial workers, artisans, and traders. It was to further alleviate their difficulties and pain that we have commenced our food palliative measures, which are properly domiciled in local government and grassroots communities. I therefore wish to emphasize that the distribution of palliatives has no political coloration or consideration whatsoever. There are additional economic support measures for the poor and the vulnerable in our society. Therefore, citizens of our dear state will be so administered by the community-based individuals in charge. Efforts like this, with those of the federal government, must be made to support positively the survival, sustenance, and total benefit of our people. Let me seize this opportunity to express government's sincere appreciation to all our traditional rulers, our community leaders, the Christian Association of Nigeria, the Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs, as well as other public-spirited individuals, the business community, volunteers, and donors for their selfless efforts. I must again thank the Interministerial Committee, our Palliative Committee, Fund Mobilization Committee, our health workers in all our health facilities, particularly the officers manning our infectious disease hospital and the state entry point, for their real dedication, vigilance, sacrifice, and commitment. I thank all of you members of the media for your support thus far. I trust that you will continue to give your support for these public issues. I must also thank other public figures for making themselves available for the great work of mobilizing our people towards containment of this cause through hygienic practices, social and physical distancing, and issues associated with social gathering. I'm convinced that with our cooperation with the federal government and all global efforts generated every day by government and relevant organizations, the attack of COVID-19 on our humanity and civilization will soon be defeated. I thank you all, my people, for listening. May God bless Ondo State, and may God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria.